So this is Lindsay giving feedback to for Unit 5. There's a lot of P's in there, Scott, and that's where we don't want it to be negative, really. So do you know what happened as to why bits were missed off and things like that?
Yeah, I think it's just I wasn't as organised.
But you are one of those people that's not always brilliantly organised anyway, so topped on top of that. Okay, so let's break it down. You've got pass merit for your audio, but a merit for your actual visual filming.
Okay.
Merit pass for your evaluation and pass for the first 2 tasks. So we'll have a look at it. Hopefully I have downloaded it all on here. Some of it was just missing, which we know you've sorted that. External issues we don't really need to go into. Me and Warwick are your main tutors on the FMP.
Okay.
We're not, one of the things I said to my level 2s yesterday, we're not the enemy. We're there to help you. We want you to get the best out of it. So if you start hitting any issues, just try and talk to us. Or Ben, obviously, and Ben will let us know if we need to do anything extra. So just let us know. Anyway, so yeah, bits weren't there, but I did get it all. I hope I've downloaded it. Otherwise, we've got to go into the horrible hubba. Scott, I did. Yeah, okay. So, did you have to go and do this afterwards, or did you already have it and you just hadn't uploaded it?
I had it, I didn't upload it, but because it was deadline day, I had to redo it again.
Because where was it?
It was at home because I forgot the hard drive. But it was fine because I sort of remembered the main points.
Okay, so it is
so bad.
Okay, so to go forward, it's have you had my car? Have you had my story about borrowing your mum's car and not running over a cat in it?
No.
Okay, I'll tell you then, because it does click with a lot of people. So you've borrowed your mum's car, you've gone out, you go around a corner, there's a cat, you swerve and hit a wall.
Yeah.
So you have to go back and tell your mum about it.
Okay.
Pass student will say exactly what I've just said. A merit student will go, Mum, I borrowed your car, it was raining, there was too much water on the road, I went round a corner, there was a cat, I didn't have time to stop, I braked and I thought, what am I going to hit, the cat or a wall, and I went for the wall. Sorry, you can't. That's a merit student. Still all from your head. Okay. Distinction student is, Mum, I went out in your car, there was 2.5 inches of rain downpouring an hour, and therefore on the piece of road I was on there was so many minutes of rain. Checked out your tyres, you've only got 5 mil tread on your left front tyre, on the left one. So I was proceeding towards the junction, went round the corner in gear, blur. The cat was so many metres from the junction. I've looked up police reports that show that you need this amount of space to stop in, and I've also looked at a psychological report that people would rather hit a wall than kill an animal, and that's why in that split second I had no choice but to make this decision, and the speed and velocity at which I was hitting that wall, this police report will show, or this science report will show, that that's why you've got that much damage by that distinction. So basically, it's not just out of your head, you're backing it up with facts and figures. And intellectually, Scott, I know you can do that. I think when you're in the middle of a project, from what I've seen, it gets a bit muddly up there. That's why I was just saying. And one of the things we do on a FMP, so long as you're in, because you're not always in as much as you need to be, is we do a progress review. So we come up, plug your hard drive in, and we just look at everything you've got so far. We try and see everybody once every 2 weeks. So to me, I will highlight to see you pretty early on, see where you're at. As support, just totally support. And then we can literally see the work, go, right, you've made that statement there, prove it. Why don't you look at this? Why don't you look at that? How about that? How about that? Because some, at your age, I'm old, I've got millions of years of experience behind me. I can think of different things to look at, think of the different ways of proving a point or highlighting something. At your age, most people here can't. You think, oh, that's really obvious what I've put down. It's obvious that that's right. So the progress reviews might really, really work well for you. So make sure you get them. You've got me for 2 days a week. You've got Warwick. You don't have to just go with us. You can ask any staff for help at any point. But I think that would be quite a good way because you do get so embroiled, it gets confusing, doesn't it? Would you say that's fair?
Yeah.
I don't want to be personal if it's not true. I'm just
No,
trying to
yeah.
help. Go for it, yeah. So I think the progress reviews. So we'll make sure we do them regularly, and which we will anyway. But get yours in pretty quick. So I think you get this anyway. I don't want to go on about it if you do. So what have we put here? This alone is. I'm just picking out a sentence. Extremely chalked going task since the what? This alone is an extremely chalked going task.
I think that's supposed to be challenging.
Right, okay.
Auto-correcting.
Yeah, since the iconic sound of a gunshot is unique to the West End films and its iconic ping noise. What do you mean? What ping noise?
So, you know when it like whizzes past you.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, no, that's fine. So then, just Google how do they make that sound? How do they get that sound in these films? It'll be all over the internet. It might be that they actually go to a firing range and film. I very much doubt it. I expect it's Foley that they've created from somewhere. So if you put that in and state, so you might cut and paste a bit off a website that tells you how they make the sound. And then you'll say, as shown by this Foley artist, this is what they do in most films. Then you're starting to hit that distinction. That's you explaining to your mum with police reports, yeah? So I know it's a silly story, but it does tend to help. So basically, you pick out a few of those. This should have been 3 films. It's only 1.
There's number 2.
Where? That's the one I downloaded off the Tinterweb. Oh, no, hang on. Have you redone it? Maybe that's the old one. Let's check, because if you haven't uploaded the right one again, that will be very frustrating for you. Hub, pain in the bottom to find. And not even in the corridor. You could go out there. Be a bit quicker for you. Take the chair if you like. So this is unit 5, isn't it?
I think so.
Unit 5. I know you have a high expectation of yourself, but if things go muddly or you forget things, I'd much rather you come and talk to us and get help rather than sink into a little hole of confusion.
Yeah. Sorry, password.
Sorry. Ah, okay. These I've not downloaded these onto my hard drive because they weren't there in the first place. Oh yeah, I do remember seeing these. Yeah, so you have done all 3, but it is mainly from your head, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how you get your higher grades. And you write really well. It's just proving stuff. Very brief, incomplete audio technology worksheet. Oh yeah. So the brief said to go on. So first of all, write about the 3 films again, but explore further how the sound was created. Oh, I have put them in here this time. I'm going to guess that might be the first part. Yeah. Engine Mouths, short film, stop motion, problems. Okay. So this is meant to be looking at 3 films and actually trying to work out how they made the sounds. So the fact we can't tell which scenes are Foley and which are not means they achieved the goal, which is right. Did you pick out any particular sounds to find out how they were created?
I'll take a guess and say no.
No, I don't think you did.
Because that was a bit rushed.
Yeah. And again, it's about going forward, but you understand the principle of how you would get that up to a merit, don't you?
Yeah.
You see, a lot of this was getting onto merit level, definitely, or already merit level. It's just the fact that, again, it's short.
Yeah.
So your experiments were just those, weren't they?
Yeah.
Oh, I've seen those. That's where I put them all in there. Look. Okay, experiments. Let's get you forward thinking on this one. And you might have done this in a previous project. How many tabs have I got open? So when you're doing an experiment, a really good way of showing what you've done is on here, this kind of thing. So you've got the thing with George walking and all of that. Did you write some subtitles on it? Or no, you didn't even write. So you've just put some footage on there. But what I could listen to it, I could ascertain some skillage from it. But what I don't know is what you got from it. So to me, this is the quickest way of working. I don't know if you've done this in other units, so I don't want to teach grandma to suck eggs. So this person has got this is more post, where they have gone out, recorded a load of sound, and then they're playing through them. My YouTube just keeps not working. They're playing through them, they're opening up the files, and they're talking about them. And they're saying what they're happy with, what they're not happy with. You can hear the sound. They say what settings were on the camera, the microphone, so if your experiments are you going out with a camera, setting up different lights, so if you've watched a film and you go, right, I'm going to try and get that look, and you've got that look there on a printout or on a phone or whatever, and you're recreating it, then if you vlog afterwards and go, this is what I was trying to achieve, I've had 5 different goes at this, that's not good, but I'm really pleased with this one. That's going to be hitting our brains, definitely, so that we can just see the whole process of where you get your inspiration from and where you've gone to. And then if you're putting it in post, it's the quickest way rather than writing loads. Can you do screen recordings at home? And your machine will read the Mac files and all of that to be able to open up files.
It might do.
Read your hard drive though. If I plug mine into a PC, it's so old. I didn't format it to do both, so unless I take everything off and reformat it, I can't plug it in. Okay, so you could do that at home. Yeah. So that's the best way of showing the whole progress, right from the beginning. Of this is the film I looked at. This is a shot I've decided to emulate. These are my experiments showing it. I'm pleased with this. That's what I did. This is what didn't go well. Yeah. So that's going to get you right up there with experiments. So the difference between that kind of thing, I know that's more post, and having the short films of George and his sticks without you. I can hear that's clipping, and I'm pretty sure if you put that in Premiere it would be clipping. It might not be. So I don't know what you got out of that, apart from having a very nice time in the woods with George and whoever else was out there. Sounds like Darcy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? What equipment did you use?
We did have another video where we tested out every microphone and we wrote down, that one.
Yeah.
But I didn't really explain what was good about it.
And what settings did you have the camera on? Yeah. How would you improve it? Because some of these are not good recordings.
Inside 2 meters away. Inside 5 meters away.
There's no depth to it.
Outside mic test 1. Outside mic test 2.
So there's a lot of crisping, there's a lot of wind. So it's what went well, what do I need to improve it, so that when you go out on production you get the best audio.
Okay.
What did I give you for your actual production? No, I don't think I did. Pass merit for your audio and merit for your visual. So, did you have just a little bit? There was just a little bit that if you'd have edited it out, you'd have been total merit on this. Isn't there just one? That's all great camera work. Not very good speakers on this. Was any of this Foley sound, or was it all like? Yeah.
Most of it was Foley.
I think there was just one bit where it was clipping and crispy when we listened to it on the big speakers. Can you remember on the feedback day? There was something. And I think
I remember you talking about it.
Yeah, I think it's around. And obviously it's not so good on these speakers. I think it's.
That far.
Yeah. Mic's just close, it's peaking.
Yeah.
Which a little edit can sort out, or a bit of Foley can sort out. Generally, camera work's nice. It's just a bit grainy in some places, isn't it?
Mhm.
But
It wasn't filmed with
compositionally.
DSLR.
Oh, yeah, you had to use an iPhone. What happened?
I had the footage, but then the SD card I formatted it, so I lost all the footage on it.
That's what I mean about
And then
there's
there was
that.
like a day to go, and I couldn't book any camera out because I'd work, so I won't be able to return that. So,
I have seen that pattern happen on a couple of other projects.
Yeah.
You're there, it's there, and then a little bit breaks off at the last minute.
yeah.
And I don't know whether it's pressure.
I think it's just being unorganised.
Okay, so that's where having touching base with somebody that can help you go through stuff
Yeah.
is hopefully going to help.
I mean, I didn't cheat. I still made it so I can manually change the settings, but
Yeah, no, and you've actually come up visually with a really good production. You've got one. So that audio where it's clipping, is that recorded on the iPhone?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
so that's fine.
So that's difficult as well.
Yeah.
But you could have brought that down in post.
Yeah, I
and it
tried
would
to.
work. Oh, okay. And that's the iPhone being too close to the sound, or you could have re-recorded that bit of sound. But you know, they're all
Yeah.
problem-solving stuff.
Mhm.
Well, considering all of that, you just fucking job. And I do appreciate, like I said, Ben didn't say what it was, but I get, you know, the understanding that you're under a lot of stress at that point. So get that, but we don't want that on this project. We want you to nail it. So what should I give you for your evaluation? Pass. Was that something you put in at the last minute? Oh, merit pass, sorry. Give you a pass, I will. Is that something you did at the last minute, your evaluation? It wasn't, was it?
No.
Good evaluation. Right, that doesn't help anybody, Lindsay. Not at all. Let's have a look at it. Just open another file. My poor machine is going to explode with files.
Yeah.
So you've evaluated the equipment, explaining what went on, videos. How good was that first lot of footage?
So
Was it good? The first lot that you deleted.
yeah,
Had you edited it?
no,
Oh no, you didn't.
but I reviewed it and it was alright.
So what you haven't got in your feedback, in your evaluation, is all of the stages of your project. You want to be evaluating the whole project, not just the production. So research, experiments, all of that. For the very reason that, would you say you did in-depth experiments with the microphones?
No.
So you need to evaluate on that. Because the evaluation's not for my benefit, it's for yours to be able to go, next project, I'm going to really experiment with all of that so I know what I'm doing. So with your FMP, if you want to get those, I'm guessing that when you said about playing with light to create different times of the day and stuff, you've got images in your head of what you want. So to achieve what's in your head, you need to research stuff people's already done, and then you've got to do loads of experiments to get it right. And then you'll be pleased, you know, because you'll get what you wanted to. Like when you did the projection, you did a lot of playing around, experimenting. I know you had the last minute panic of trying to get a projector and stuff, but it all came together, didn't it? And you had done a lot of experimenting. So you need to evaluate on everything, what you've looked at right from the word go. I'm glad you've already thought about what you want to do. So you've got a week. You can start looking at bits and pieces to do with this already. Maybe just looking at films
I've already looked at some videos on YouTube.
of
I've
how
got-
to do it.
Yeah, and I've got a list of equipment I want to buy.
Okay.
No.
Do you need to buy it? Are you in a
Maybe.
position to buy it? You've got loads of Wonga.
Not loads, but I might buy it.
Okay.
They're really cool.
What sort of stuff then?
So it's like different light sticks, and they're portable, so you can attach them to anything. And they have like different colour temperatures. So you can
Okay,
do like
yeah.
you know where there's like a cold light on
Yeah.
one side, and then you have to use warm light behind you.
Yeah, like on the footage you were
Yeah,
looking
I
at.
just want to recreate that because I think it looks really cool.
And actually, if you can change it while they're there, it'd be good to play around with actually changing them in situ as well.
Yeah.
So, and are you going to look at doing the big location lights with gels on as well?
Yeah, I was looking at gels because they're quite cool.
We've got
Do you have
gels.
gels? Yeah, because I was looking on Saito.
No, you just go in and ask for them. They're not out that often that people. And obviously, you can do experiments here with the studio and just try different gels out there.
Yeah.
We've got lots of student projects, or a couple in particular. Georgia Chorlton did an advert which initially she was looking at changing the colours in post, but she in the end did it all with film with gels, and it looks really, really cool. I'll have to dig that out and show you. But yeah, if you can find productions now that have already got stuff in, that you could copy and emulate in your experiments. So, do you think that's fair? Do you feel that you know how to go forward and get merits and distinctions that you want? That's the important. It's all about going forward, Scott. No vlogs. Your website's got 3 on for the whole year. But can you see how vlogging experiments is easier, quicker,
I'll try and do vlogs for
valid?
the LP. I haven't done any vlogs for this unit either.
No, I know, you've only got 3 on there for the
Didn't
whole
have
year.
vlogs.
No, but for experiments,
Yeah, I'll
you
definitely
know,
do some.
and opening up files and comparing stuff, and if you found films that you really like the look of, to show those and go, I tried to copy that look, and here's my experiment. Yeah, I did a good job, or that's a bit rubbish, I'm going to go back again. That's the value of vlogs. You don't have to do the reflection ones all the time of, I'm feeling like this today, but at least if you use them for technical stuff, it's the best way of getting your experiments across, without a doubt.
Yeah.
It's so much quicker, and also, like several people have said today, it's easier to talk about stuff when you're looking at the thing. And what happens a lot is a lot of students will do written work on a Word document, and they're not even looking at the thing they're writing about. That's so much harder. It really is. But anyway, cool. So you're all right. And guess what? You got me for FMP.
Hey.
Oh, well done.